I got the dirt. Someone axed Kirk for their sick game. I know who ordered Kirk's hit. Someone's hiding, scared.
Joe Rogan never expected this conversation to go in the direction it did. What began as a casual discussion on his podcast about politics quickly twisted into a mystery that left even him unsettled. Mid-sentence, he leaned forward, furrowed his brow, and said, "Wait, something doesn't add up about Erica Kirk." That single line, caught on camera, clipped, and shared millions of times, sent the internet into a frenzy. Joe wasn't speculating or joking, he was genuinely concerned. Sources close to the studio revealed that Joe had been reviewing footage and information related to Charlie Kirk's final weeks. What he found was unsettling: inconsistencies in Erica's timeline, strange behavior on social media, odd public statements, and sudden gaps in who she interacted with. Joe's tone became serious, the kind he only used when he sensed something deeply wrong. "Either Erica's hiding something or someone is hiding something for her," he said. That one line alone sparked thousands of comments, countless reaction videos, and a flood of speculation. People began asking questions. Why was Erica suddenly off-grid? Why were insiders hinting that she might not be telling the whole story about Charlie's last weeks? Why were investigators circling again? And most importantly, why did Joe's sources claim there were documents contradicting Erica's public narrative? Joe ended the segment with a chilling tease: there was a missing piece in Charlie's story, and he suspected Erica knew exactly what it was. Long before the podcast clip went viral, there had been subtle signs. Small moments that people overlooked. Erica's demeanor often seemed off. There were whispers from insiders who said something didn't feel right. Joe didn't come to his conclusion lightly, he had been hearing quiet warnings for months. The first alert came from a guest on the podcast who hinted that some in conservative circles believed Erica was withholding key information about Charlie's final months. The guest didn't want to speak publicly but emphasized that Charlie had trusted the wrong person at the end. Initially, Joe brushed it off. But as more whispers came in, producers pointing out timeline inconsistencies, friends noting scripted-sounding interviews, and political analysts sending direct messages, it all led back to Erica. Joe began re-watching archived episodes of Charlie's appearances. Earlier on, Charlie had always appeared confident, focused, and sharp. But in the last few interviews, only weeks before his death, he seemed distracted, tense, and unusually hesitant when discussing his marriage. In one clip, when Joe lightly joked about married life, Charlie forced a smile, looked away, and said, "Yeah, things have been complicated." For Joe, that single word, complicated, stood out. Charlie never used words like that lightly. Meanwhile, Erica's public behavior was unusual. At events where a widow might be expected to appear reflective or grieving, she seemed composed, almost performing her emotions rather than experiencing them. Insiders described her grief as selective and controlled, appearing mostly for cameras or public appearances. People noticed how quickly she reinserted herself into political circles, attending panels and meetings Charlie's family and advisors hadn't approved. Erica's sudden authority raised eyebrows. She positioned herself as the guardian of Charlie's legacy, asserting that she knew his true intentions, his political vision, and his strategic plans. But colleagues said Charlie had never included Erica in such decisions. Leaked messages captured the surprise of close aides. "Why is Erica making choices Charlie never agreed to?" asked one. "He told me she wasn't part of this world." "Why is she taking over now?" asked another. Financial and organizational decisions after Charlie's death were also confusing. Funds were redirected, partnerships canceled, and new alliances formed, some with people Charlie had distrusted. Joe began to dig deeper, speaking privately to those who had interacted with Erica during Charlie's final months. One common thread emerged: Charlie had started pulling away from Erica, questioning her connections and intentions. Someone had even seen a portion of Charlie's personal journal, which described him feeling watched and uneasy in his own home. The turning point came when Joe received an anonymous message. It included an encrypted file. When his cybersecurity contact reviewed it, Joe learned the contents were real: timestamps, screenshots, audio clips, and calendar logs showing Erica meeting with people Charlie had explicitly warned her against. The files suggested manipulation, not grief, and hinted at a larger network influencing Erica. One audio transcription revealed Charlie confronting Erica about her secret meetings. She didn't deny them. She calmly responded, implying that she was making decisions for a greater future. Joe realized this wasn't a misunderstanding, this was calculated behavior, orchestrated over months. Erica's actions weren't just inconsistent, they were methodical. Further files revealed a network map of political operatives, donors, and advisors. Erica's connections intersected with individuals Charlie had marked as destabilizing. Documents suggested instructions being relayed to Erica from someone called the Architect, a mysterious figure who seemed to guide her every move. The files indicated that Charlie's fears were valid, he was aware of a force working against him, and Erica was following it. The most revealing information came from a former assistant who spoke anonymously to Joe. She confirmed that Erica had been influenced by the Architect, adopting her strategies, tone, and mindset. Charlie tried to intervene, but Erica insisted the Architect understood the future better than he did. The assistant described overhearing Erica speaking to the Architect on the phone, discussing how to apply pressure to Charlie so he would break before she does. Joe also received recordings showing a confrontation in Charlie and Erica's home. Charlie expressed fear and confusion, asking Erica why she was pursuing this influence. Erica's response was calm, strategic, and chilling. She described doing what Charlie was too hesitant to do himself. The atmosphere in the room suggested calculation rather than grief or conflict. Joe understood the warning in Charlie's words. He wasn't paranoid, he was aware of a real threat. Days later, Joe received another encrypted message, coordinates and a note indicating someone wanted to talk. At a dim parking structure, a former assistant confirmed what Joe had pieced together. Erica's change had begun under the Architect's influence, and Charlie's fear and warnings were accurate. The assistant revealed that the Architect had visited their home multiple times and was guiding Erica directly. Charlie had confronted them, tried to warn people, and tried to protect the truth, but it had been too late. Erica herself recorded a voice note describing her fear and the hidden journal Charlie had kept. The journal, she said, contained the real name of the Architect and was hidden for safety. That missing page represented not just secrets about Charlie's final days, but a network of influence and control that could reach far beyond what anyone imagined. Within hours, security footage revealed a woman with a red gemstone ring, moving through restricted areas of a federal building without challenge. Joe realized this was not ordinary access, it was authority. Someone powerful was orchestrating events from the shadows, controlling narratives, and silencing anyone in their way. The missing journal now became a matter of urgency. Whoever found it first would hold the key to understanding the truth. The story exploded online. Speculation ran wild. Who was the Architect? A federal strategist? An intelligence operative? Someone connected to the White House? Erica's behavior, Charlie's warnings, the missing journal, and the strange footage all suggested a web of influence that reached far beyond public knowledge. Joe's instincts had been right from the beginning. Something about Erica Kirk was off. Charlie's behavior, the leaked documents, and the hidden recordings all pointed to a hidden force guiding her. It wasn't grief, misunderstanding, or coincidence, it was a strategic manipulation orchestrated by someone with immense power. The final revelation came with Erica's panicked voice note, confirming the existence of the missing journal. She admitted the Architect had found her and was hunting the journal. Charlie had left the true identity hidden for safety, hoping someone trustworthy would uncover it. Now, the stakes were higher than ever. Joe realized this was no longer about curiosity, it was a race to find the truth before the Architect could silence it forever. As the world waited, Washington trembled. Every file, every whisper, every piece of evidence pointed to one chilling conclusion: someone, somewhere, had the power to shape outcomes, manipulate people, and remain invisible. And Joe Rogan, by asking a simple question on his podcast, had stumbled into the middle of a mystery that could rewrite everything people thought they knew about influence, power, and secrecy. The story continues, and the final question remains: